But these fireworks going off were deadly.
From decapitations to bridge collapses, here are the most terrifying pyrokinetic disasters in history. Wait till you see the last one, because that will shock you. But before we begin, if you have a morbid curiosity for the dark side of the world, hit that subscribe button right now. Belmont Gardens Firework.
Firework debris is littered throughout this northwest side alley, a 4th of July family tradition turned tragic when fireworks killed 34-year-old Earl Laurie.
Starting off with a backyard betrayal for a 34-year-old father in Belmont Gardens, the 4th of July in 2024 was supposed to be a memory-making evening for a young family. His name was Earl Laurie, and he was a father of 2. The third one was on the way. He already set up a cake fighter, one of those boxes with multiple tubes that shoot colors in the sky to entertain the kid. It started normally, launching bursts. But then something terrible happened. This is the moment where having a lack of knowledge became the reason for someone's death. The rule was absolute. You never approach a firework that fails to fire. But after just 30 seconds of silence, he returned to the device, and witnesses say he bent tubes to infest the fuel. Likely thinking that it had gone out, but in reality, it was just smoldering. Just as his face came within inches of the tube, the next shot was fired. The aerial shell, as hard as a rock, traveled at 200 feet per second, striking him directly in the throat. Fireworks debris littered the neighborhood. The report said that several people were trying their best to take out the firework, and it took them quite a long time. After this report, there were reports of 1 death and more than a dozen fires blamed on fireworks accidents. It just shows how brutal they can really be. The impact alone was devastating, but the shell was timed to explode in the air and instead detonated inside his neck. The internal explosion destroyed his major arteries and fractured his spine instantly. He collapsed on his lungs, and even though he was conscious for 20 painful seconds, his family watched in horror, unable to do anything but wait for the inevitable death. Yichang Bridge explosion. And while backyard accidents are tragic, the cat catastrophe in China's Hainan province in 2013 really goes to show how crazy the fireworks can get when you scale up explosives. It can go really wrong. Here's how it happened. It was a freezing morning on the Yichang Bridge, which is an elevated expressway standing at a whopping 90 feet above the ground. The bridge was packed with commuters, but one truck was carrying a deadly secret. It had 6 tons of professional-grade fireworks for people who were transporting. It didn't seem like a big deal because that was just part of their job. However, under Chinese law, this cargo required special permits and escorts, and surprisingly enough, the driver had neither. Then something tragic happened. Friction or heat likely ignited the cargo, and the driver tried to pull over. However, he never did. This explosion wasn't just your regular fire. It was a complete detonation that destroyed everything. The blast was strong enough to liquefy organs, but the structural damage was even worse, and the overall collateral damage ended up killing many people. Bridges are built to hold weight but not to withstand massive lateral explosions. The concrete support columns were pulverized, and a 260-foot section of the expressway simply disintegrated midair. 26 vehicles, including heavy trucks, plunged 90 feet to the frozen ground below. It was an apocalyptic pile of twisted metal, concrete, and fire, with secondary explosions popping amongst the wreckage. In total, 26 people died, and many were crushed instantly or burned alive, proving that fireworks are fundamentally shipping containers that are full of bombs. Webb's Bait Farm.
The detonation happened on the morning of May 27th at an illegal fireworks business concealed behind Webb's Bait Farm. The blast killed 11 people.
Now we move on to the absolute disasters of disasters. Decades earlier, in 1983, a similar lack of respect for chemistry destroyed a farm in Tennessee. To the outside world, it looked like a rundown dairy barn. But inside, there were 11 workers who were illegally manufacturing M80s and M100s because no one would suspect them in a place like this. These aren't just fireworks. They are small dynamite sticks that are filled with flash powder. If you don't know about flash powder, it is terrifyingly unstable. It detonates faster than the speed of sound and is sensitive to friction and even static. Inside the farm, the air was thick and filled with aluminum dust. A supervisor was demonstrating how to pack the powder when a simple movement of his clothing generated a tiny spark of static electricity, the kind you would get from touching a doorknob or closing the door. In this environment, spark is a death sentence. The initial ignition detonated around 1,000 pounds of stored flash powder instantly. The pressure expanded at 17,000 feet per second, and the barn was leveled while being atomized to the point where it didn't even get recognized anymore. Tens of 11 workers were killed instantly, and their bodies were torn apart by a force that was so strong that it melted the whole barn down. There were even trees that were destroyed around 300 yards away. Residents who were 20 miles away felt the ground shake after the explosion. This is one of the biggest tragedies that happened due to fireworks in the history of mankind. But there is more. Sivakasi firework explosion.
This massive inferno at the Om Shakti fireworks factory in Sivakasi on Wednesday.
Sivakasi is known as the fireworks capital of India, and it is notorious for many accidents. But in 2012, something terrible happened where the fireworks capital of India was turned into the massacre capital of India. Here, a factory was operating without proper safety protocols while pushing its workers too far in a chemical mixing room. 12 workers were manually mixing potassium, chlorate, and sulfur. Why don't we think that's a good idea? Well, the temperature in the room was around 108 degrees Fahrenheit, 42 degrees Celsius. And mixing these volatile chemicals dry in that kind of heat is basically suicidal. The worst part was that there was no ventilation, and at around 11 o'clock, friction sparked in the mixture, and the blast happened, destroying the 12 workers instantly, reaching temperatures over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. However, fear was just the beginning. The fire spread to the assembly room where 38 other workers were making fireworks. The exit was blocked by debris, and the windows were destroyed with heavy metal grates. The windows were already fixed with heavy metal grates to prevent theft. That means nobody could get out. Workers were pressed against the bars screaming for help, while onlookers watched helplessly. They were breathing smoke filled with vaporized chemicals that burned their lungs inside out. When the fire was controlled, over 56 people died and 50 were injured. They all fell victim to a system that prioritizes efficiency over safety. Mesa Redonda fire.
Ya de la tragedia que ocurrió en Mesa Redonda, un día precisamente como hoy.
If you want to understand how quickly a celebration can turn into a massacre, you have to look at the Mesa Redonda fire. It was December 2001 when the streets of this district in Lima were packed with holiday shoppers. It was known as the Black Market Hub, where vendors sold everything from toys to illegal pyrokinetic items, and the same was happening here. The streets were narrow, creating a bottleneck of thousands of people squeezed between old buildings that were constructed of adobe and wood. The disaster happened with a simple sales pitch where a vendor wanted to show the quality of his chocolate firework, which was a small and explosive device. So he lit one in the middle of the crowded street to demonstrate it to the customer, but the spark didn't just fade away. It landed on the nearby stack of fireworks. In an instant, the street that was peaceful and full of life transformed into a chain reaction of hell. The initial explosion ignited neighboring stalls, which were stacked high with tons of illegal gunpowder. The chain reaction then moved faster than people could. Within minutes, the fire spread to 4 city blocks. The tragedy destroyed architecture. Narrow exits were blocked by cars in panic, and the old building also caught fire. When the smoke cleared and the world saw that the devastation was apocalyptic, the official death toll stood at a whopping 291, but many estimate that it was over 400 as entire families disappeared in the inferno. This is one of the deadliest fireworks in recorded history, which is a grim reminder that safety regulations should be in place. Putingal Temple fire.
After the shocking fire tragedy at Putingal Temple in Kollam district of Kerala, the defined temple authorities refused to stop the fireworks. The officials argue that fireworks is a part of ritual.
This doesn't end there because in April 2016, the Putingal Temple in Kerala was hosting a religious festival. Fireworks are a massive part of any tradition, often becoming a competition between rival groups to see who can create the loudest, most spectacular display. That night, the competition turned deadly. The temple complex was packed with thousands of devotees, and in the center there was a designated storehouse with a concrete building that was being kept. The display was happening dangerously close to this magazine, and around 3:30 a.m., a single aerial fireworks, known locally as a mitu, failed to launch properly, and instead of exploding in the sky, it fell back down. It landed directly on the storehouse. The resulting explosion wasn't just fire, it was a complete detonation. The whole stockpile exploded with such force that it didn't just burn the building, it shattered and destroyed it. Chunks of concrete rained down on a crowd like missiles, and the blast felt over a kilometer away. The shock wave became deadly and killed 111 people, with over 350 of them injured, many by the shrapnel of the very building that was meant to keep the explosives safe. San Pablito explosion. Just months after the temple tragedy in India, Mexico suffered its own catastrophe in a place that claimed to be the safest market in Latin America. The San Pablito market in Tultepec was famous just for its firewood. The vendors and officials boasted about their safety measures, claiming that stalls were perfectly spaced to prevent a chain reaction. Imagine going to a marketing event thinking that you're going to get the best fireworks, but what you get instead is death. On December 22, 2006, those claims were proven completely wrong. It is still unclear why exactly it started. Some say it was a rocket, others say it was a spark. But once the first stall ignited, the perfect spacing meant nothing. The market became a domino effect for an explosion, and drone footage, along with CCTV, captured the movement of the market that was consumed by a rolling wave of smoke and detonation. People are seen running for their lives as the rockets are fired horizontally across crowded aisles. Despite these safety claims, the market was completely destroyed in minutes. The heat was so intense that it destroyed nearby vehicles and leveled the stalls to ash. The official death toll here rose to 42, with dozens more suffering severe burns. It was a harsh lesson that when you concentrate that much gunpowder in one space, there is no such thing as safety, even if the safety measures are carefully planned. And with that, our list of the worst firework deaths ever has completely completed. There are many other fireworks, and if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell icon for videos where we uncover the greatest tragedies on Earth.